anniversary, and 25th commencement seems a little bit more special than the 24th anniversary, doesn't it? It feels a little weird, but today feels a little bit more special than yesterday. And it's probably because of all of your accomplishments. This is the reason why today is a little bit more special than yesterday. To make a great institution, it takes 3 ingredients. First is educational excellence delivered by faculty. Second is committed advisory board members and trustees. And the third is our alumni base. So when I examine these 3 components that makes a great university, I am really hopeful for the future of Fremont College. Don't you? So let's examine our great learning model now that's preparing you to be in the 21st century workforce. And look at our committed, distinguished faculty members. They have put in a lot of hours and a lot of effort to give you the knowledge that you need to go out and work in the field. You probably don't have a lot of opportunity to work with our trustees, advisory board members, and board of governors. But when you see these so accomplished people who are putting in their time and effort and resources to make the institution better, and every time our faculty members and I have an opportunity to work with them, we are so grateful and so amazed at their dedication and their commitment for us. And most importantly, when I look at you, the graduates, you are joining the alumni base of Fremont College. And as you enter the workforce, you are becoming our ambassadors and you're being part of our legacy. So, I know that's great, right? And I want to tell you something that's really exciting that I haven't told any of the students yet. 2 weeks ago, Fremont College became WASC eligible. So for families who do not know what that means, WASC eligible means there are several different layers of accreditation in the higher education community. That means we are a step closer to grant master's degrees and doctorate degrees. And the units these students will be taking at Fremont College will be transferable to all the UC systems, Cal-State systems, as well as private colleges like USC, Stanford, or Caltech. So you have a big job. You have a big job. And you're going to learn for the rest of your life. So please do not stop learning. But as you graduate, I want to tell you one thing. And I want you to take this one lesson with you. Learn to believe in something greater than yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to accomplish anything that's greater than yourself. You have gone to college 4 days a week, sometimes working all day, 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. for the last 2 years or 4 years. That is really a big accomplishment, let alone in graduating with honors. This is an amazing accomplishment. Do not lose that work ethic. Don't let it go. You may not have been born as the smartest or the richest or the tallest or the prettiest, but you control your time. You control your effort. You can be the hardest working person that you know. So don't lose that work ethic and believe in something that is much greater than yourself so that you can accomplish something that is more than you ever thought possible. When you do, your career will become a platform for you, and your career will give you an opportunity to illuminate the world around you in your own very way. And that is my wish for you as you graduate in 2011. I want to recognize some few people. I know every single one of you are very special, but Comstra family, mother, father, and son graduating together. Julie, Jillian, and Jennifer, mother and two daughters graduating together. Am I missing any other families who are graduating together? Okay. So stand up if you're a family graduating together. Stand up. We are so proud of you, graduating class of 2011. On behalf of our faculty and staff, I want to say thank you for all your hard work and all your effort and the honest commitment that you have made for success of not only you, but your family and your community that you're going to contribute. So thank you very much.
I'm not going to get to tell you about the time I set myself on fire doing shooters at MTV. My career playing records in a strip club in Indianapolis. The time I almost got thrown out of the Halcyon Hotel in London with the band The Cure. The fight I got into with these militant feminists because I hired Howard Stern at E! All great stories, they're all true. And we'll do it some other time when it's a less serious occasion. I'm just going to share with you a couple of stories about my life and career and three themes that were helpful. Those things are dumb luck, crushing failure, and self-deception. All three very important to me. And I'm going to end with three wishes for you, okay? I began my career in radio. Sabrina mentioned I started as a disc jockey. I was mad for music, mad for radio. I just loved it. I started when I was 15 years old at a little radio station in a cow pasture in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And I got my first job playing the religious tapes on Sunday. We call it the God Squad. And every half hour I got between the tapes, I got to open the microphone and do a station identification. And in my 15-year-old voice, I would practice. And I'd say, WBUX, Doylestown. I made Minnie Mouse sound really masculine. One day the general manager of the radio station sat me down, and he meant this very kindly. But he sat me down and he said, you know, you may want to think about going into a different line of work. And the sad fact was that he was exactly right. I wasn't very good. I was terrible. But in my delusional little 15-year-old brain, I thought I was fabulous. I used to listen to the radio stations in Philadelphia and New York, and these guys that were the top of the game, and I said, I'm better than they are. Totally self-delusional. Anyway, this guy really pissed me off. All it did was make me try harder, and eventually I got better, and I went on to bigger stations and doing a little bit better and improving. And my goal then, at that time when I was 15, I said, I'm going to work at a big radio station in New York by the time I'm 25. And everybody I knew laughed at me. They thought I was out of my mind because I was so bad. Ultimately, I moved from one radio station to another. I called myself a migrant worker because I was always moving from one town to the other to a slightly better radio station. When I was 25 years old, I got the afternoon show, WNBC, in New York, which is where I met Howard Stern. So I hit my absurd little goal. Had I known how truly awful I was, I would have given up. But that's what convinced me of the power of big ideas. So I believe that people aren't laughing at your ideas and your dreams and your goals. They're not big enough. My second story is about dumb luck. A couple of years ago, I was having dinner with a number of friends of mine who were CEOs. There were about 10 of us. And the question came up, how many of us were beneficiaries of good luck or chance or serendipity? And everybody had a story about something that happened to them that they considered like a turning point in their lives that helped with their success. I had a story too. And It was about offering a friend of mine. I worked in Louisville, Kentucky at the time. I was at the radio station in Louisville. And a friend of mine took a job at a competing radio station, didn't have a place to stay, so I offered him to stay at my apartment until they found one. So he was there for about 2 or 3 weeks. One night he's out, the telephone rings, I pick it up, and it's a guy calling for him, so I take the message down, end up chatting a little bit more with this guy, end up striking up a friendship with him over the years. He was a program director at a radio station in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We became friends, we stayed in touch, talked regularly. The guy's name was Bob Pittman. He went on years later to create MTV. But 4 years after this phone call, he hired me at WNBC in New York. And 9 years after that, he hired me at MTV and VH1. We've been friends for 39 years. It was just the luck of offering. So if somebody asks you that for a place to stay, let them stay at your place. Every one of the 10 CEOs had a story like that. Some chance meeting that occurred that was really instrumental in their lives. And one of the things I asked, I said was, well, if that hadn't have happened, do you think your life would have been different? And almost everybody said, you know, if it hadn't been that turning point, it might have been another one. Of course, there's no way to know, because with luck, you don't know what your lucky break is until years after it happens. And quite often it requires taking a little bit of a risk, stepping out of your comfort zone, and you don't know it so much later whether it truly is a stroke of luck or not. And many people aren't willing to take those risks. The last thing I wanted to mention was crushing failure. So I'm going to tell you about the 3 times I was fired. The first time I was working at a radio station in Miami, Florida, Y100. I'd been there 3 months. I didn't fit in at all. My sound on the air was very different than the radio station. They should have never hired me. I should have never taken the job. Didn't work out. I was fired. First time I was devastated. I mean, I was devastated. It was soul crushing. I'd never failed before. I ended up taking a job back in Louisville, Kentucky at a really small radio station because I just wanted to be back where my friends were. I wanted to get back to my comfort zone, and I took a job at this little radio station. A couple months later, they offered me the program director's job, and that's when I discovered that I was a better program director than I was at this jockey, and my career took off in another direction. A couple years later, the people I worked for offered me a chance to become their business partners, and we started buying radio stations together. It would have never happened had I not been fired in Miami. And the last time I was fired was back in 1989. I was working at MTV. I put on Andrew Dice Clay on the Video Music Awards. He promised he was going to keep it clean, but he didn't. The show, it was one of those shows that was so much energy, you could feel the wheels coming off the show as it progressed. But the show had the highest ratings we had had for the Video Music Awards up to that point. There was a lot of energy, it was a lot of fun, but as a result of his performance, I lost my job. And it was traumatic for me, because I had so much of my identity wrapped up in working for MTV. It was the most fun gig I'd ever had at that point. I was having a ball. I was devastated. It really destroyed me. But I get a phone call from HBO, and they approached me about running this little cable channel called Movie Time out here in LA. They had the job open for 9 months. No one would take the job. And I was scared to death that I was never going to be able to get a job in the cable TV industry again. I'd have to go back to playing records on radio stations. So I took the job at Movie Time. We relaunched the channel as E, Entertainment Television. It became a big hit, and I ran that as CEO for 9 years. And it was a job I didn't want, but it became a career maker for me. I would have never taken that job had I not been fired at MTV. So I've learned, for me, as much as I hate it, as painful as it is, failure has been my friend. It's been around me enough. I've gotten used to it. I don't want to make light of it, because when those moments occur, and certainly for me, they were very, very painful. But each time I try to use these moments as catalysts to moving on to doing something different and to growing. So I promised Sabrina that I was going to keep this short. I know right now with the temperature in this packed room, you probably all have the attention spans of spider monkeys on crystal meth. So I promised I was going to leave you with 3 wishes, okay? The first wish is I wish you boundless amounts of dumb luck. Though I suspect a lot of the luck that you're going to get is luck that you have earned. Coming to the school, coming to Fremont, investing your time, your energy. I was so impressed by the number of hands of people that were working either part-time or full-time while you're doing this. I mean, you've earned your luck. And I think there will be much more of it. It's a first big step for you. And I recognize, I'm hoping that you exploit that luck to the fullest extent allowed by law. And to recognize that taking advantage of luck involves risk-taking. Second wish is that you have absolutely no failures. Completely unrealistic. Isn't gonna happen, but I'm wishing it for you anyway. I told you that failure has been my friend, but it hasn't been fun, it never is. So when you have your failures, if you have them, I just hope they aren't devastating, and I hope you're able to weather them well and use them as catalysts and springboards to even better opportunities. And finally, I wish for you to be crazy delusional and wildly outrageous in what you see and want for yourselves. How many of you have ever been to Chicago? Anyone? Okay. How many of you have seen the Sears Tower? Okay, the Sears Tower is the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. So last Sunday in the New York Times, I'm reading some of these commencement speeches. A guy I didn't know, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Joseph Palmieri. He's the CEO of Willis Holdings. He gave the commencement speech at the College of William and Mary. He told the story of leasing some space in the Sears Tower during the rock bottom of the market. It was a really bad time. Not this time, but the time before. He took 2% of the building, a very small portion. He negotiated an incredible rent, very low rate. And the guy said, "Do we have a deal now?" He said, "There's one more thing." The guy said, "What?" He said, "I want this to be called Willis Tower." That building today is called Willis Tower. 2% of the office space, and it's Willis Tower. He was interviewed on NBC by Brian Williams. Brian Williams said, "How did you do that?" He said, "You're not going to believe this. I just asked." I'll leave you with the words of the great American philosopher, Gene Simmons of KISS. My personal role model and mentor. He said, "Life is too short to have anything but delusional notions about yourself." He really said that. So my last wish is that your ideas and your schemes and your plans are so big and so outrageous that everyone laughs at you. And that you get the last laugh.
What is happening in the 21st century that everyone is their own personal CEO, has to be their own personal CEO. You are your own marketing department. You are your own branding department, regardless of whether you do something by yourself or for a larger organization. Things are changing very rapidly. And one thing that's kind of guided me for a long, long time, I've had, and trying to always be open to changes that go on, but I have a large model dinosaur that I can see. It's about this far away from me. And around its neck it has a sign that says, "Adapt or Die." And I always want to try to remember that I don't want to be a dinosaur, so I'm still adapting. And it's really made a big difference to be open to the many opportunities. And I have a very important job here, which is to introduce the paralegal valedictorian. And I'm just reading about him, and he's noted for actually demonstrating excellence in the classroom, which is a good thing, among his peers. He also is someone that you will find in the student lounge or library studying until 10 p.m. or the front desk. I guess that's a good thing. And I think what the Chancellor said is so important about having the work ethic. You know, Thomas Edison said that of all of the inventions he had, and I think he tried to work on the light, he had about 1,500 different examples before he finally got them. And he said that most success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. And then we've heard, forgotten the book now, but someone said that it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert, and I've worked to be an expert at anything, so maybe have a couple hours left. But anyway, this individual, who is our valedictorian for the paralegal studies, is the one, the only Felipe Lorenzo.
It has been quite a ride, isn't it, you guys? But we all made it here today, didn't we? A wise man said that success is a journey, not merely a destination. It's a cliche, but it's very true. And we all have seen that and experienced that. The constant appetite for growth is best satisfied by education and real-life experience. This is how we shape ourselves, our life, and our future. This is what defines us. I remember a distinguished professor from Fremont College impressing me with one of last year's graduation keynotes. He said, "Education is the best treasure one can have." And he's right. No one can take it away from you. It will always stay with you no matter what. But of course, being in a classroom environment, some smart person can help it and said, just make sure you don't get amnesia. I ask each one of you to delve deeply into yourselves, into your past, during your time in Fremont College, and now during this significant and memorable occasion, and into the future and its limitless possibilities. Knowing that unconsciously we evolve, we have definitely grown. We stretched and tested our endurance. We gained vast academic knowledge, and along the way, we each learned and experienced real-world application of our newfound knowledge. Integrity, professionalism, diplomacy were ingrained to all, along with confidence, tempered with humility. When we started, way back, Fremont made a promise. All it asked was our commitment, and it definitely delivered. We are the delivered promise. Along the way, I met people from all walks of life, each one facing challenges, but not a single predicament would stop or temper the tenacity or drive within. I met many of you with life-changing adversities. Some lost homes, businesses, careers. Some survived the loss of loved ones. Some were even crime victims. Yet, you bravely persevered. You created opportunities out of crisis. In the process, many became improved versions of themselves, perhaps. You began to live life in the moment and without fear, embrace trials life offers. I witnessed more than mere camaraderie. I saw a strong family grow. I saw friendships flourish. I saw the promise of success. Many believe there is great abundance in the world. I was deeply touched to witness compassion among fellow students and school staff. On numerous occasions in the cafeteria, I saw empty plates pass around from one individual to another, gradually filling it out with food to share with those who do not have. A school food bank was the ultimate result. From food to bus fares to listening ears, people share. I truly believe there is goodness in the heart of each person. These tough times gave many the push to achieve their goals and the inspiration to rise above any challenge. Remember, challenges are veiled opportunities. We are proof that we can succeed over and over again. Choose a career path that you love, and you will never work a day in your life. If you're passionate with any endeavor, contentment is not far behind. I sincerely wish you good luck and all the best in life. You are prepared and ready to conquer the world. It is yours. Take it. Congratulations again.
Some time ago, I think it was 1 year when I graduated from a program, somebody said, "This is a wonderful day, and what you should do is get up every morning, look in the mirror, and think that today is going to be even a better day than yesterday." And I try to do that, and I wish you the best and hope you will do that too. So it's appropriate for me to recognize the wellness valedictorian, good grades, function with everybody, liked by everyone, and really has a bright future ahead of her. So let me ask Rose Mizuhara.
Many of you have become like family to me, which, being a wellness student, makes perfect sense. You get very close to people very quickly when you spend the majority of your time in your birthday suits. Covered by sheets of clothes. Coming from different backgrounds and lifestyles, we all came to Fremont College for different reasons. Some came over to turn over a new leaf, to start a new career, and some came to take on a new challenge, or to use their experience here as a stepping stone. And then there were the some of us who came just to make more money. But we all received the same result, a quality education that will help better our futures and improve our lives. We've taken another step toward having the kind of lives we dreamed about as kids. No, through this we have not become princesses, ballerinas, cowboys, or astronauts, but hopefully we have found something that we can be proud doing. I know I have. From one graduate to another, I also would say thank you to you. I think I can agree, that all of us can agree, that having one another in class made this experience that much better. We're not only there for each other as friends, but as encouragers, study buddies, and competitions who push us to do our best. Arthur C. Clarke says, the only way of finding limits to the possible is going beyond and doing the impossible. So we've been instructed and equipped with tools to help us succeed in our specific careers. Let's thank our teacher by using the knowledge that we have soaked up these past months and apply them to our everyday practice. You know all those sayings, keep your eye on the prize, full speed ahead, if you put your mind to it, they speak a lot of truth. Knowing where you're going is the most important part of getting there. At this point, the cliche thing to say would be, this is the only beginning, but cliches are cliches for a reason. This really is only just the starting line. Now we have the rest of our lives to pursue a career we love and happiness in it. Don't be afraid to dream big. Push those boundaries of the possible and do the impossible. We came, we saw, we conquered, and that, my friends, that's what we did. Congratulations.
Most of you are here because you were uncomfortable, you wanted to do something different. And you're here at Fremont, and Fremont College turns that doubt into an opportunity. And there is one living example here that I would want to introduce, who's a student ambassador. But outside of just being an excellent student, she's always reached out and helped others, tutored, and given advice. Please join me in congratulating Sarah Zapian.
I met Dr. K when she and my wife were members of a very prestigious group appointed by the governor of the state of California. They managed over $1 billion. And I met Dr. K, and I found someone who was smarter than I was, more vivacious, and a lot prettier. So Dr. K said, well, maybe you can show up and give an award and you'll find somebody out there that you can pal around with. Well, I went to Dr. K earlier today and I said, I've checked out all the graduates and their friends and their parents. And they're all smarter than I am. They're all more vivacious and they're certainly prettier than I. And she said, I guess you'll have to show up next year. So when Dr. K asked me to give an award, I said, is this person special? She said, oh yes, this is someone with outstanding academic abilities. Does this person have a strong work ethic? Absolutely. Do they have a positive attitude? She said, yes, they do. And here's the most important question. Can they help me get sports tickets? She said, yes, because this person was an intern with the Los Angeles Sparks women's basketball team. So could we please welcome Melissa Becerra.
Having won a similar award to this myself a few years back, I'm honored that they've asked me to present this one because I just have a feeling in my gut that this person is so much like me. This student ambassador, who is also known as Mom to the rest of her peers, has participated in and outside of the classroom with great enthusiasm and love for her school, Fremont College. She has always been there to cheer on her fellow classmates and help in any way she could. This is the type of person that makes me feel so good and so happy to come back to these graduation ceremonies year after year. It is the spirit that I feel moving in this room that makes it all worthwhile. I graduated from college many, many years ago, but every time I come back to a Fremont College graduation, the spirit of it makes me feel like I'm graduating all over again. And can you feel it? I said, can you feel it? That's what I want to hear. Would you please welcome our Spirit Award winner for 2011, Irma Palani Havalana.
As I was sitting here listening to Jarl today, who's been a friend for a long time, I have to admit I've experienced everything that Jarl talked about, but Jarl, I've only been fired once, not 3 times. So I've got a couple more times to catch up with Jarl. And just to let you know kind of the circumstances under which I was fired, before I was managing partner at Northern Trust, I worked with the Los Angeles Dodgers for 18 years. I worked as 12 years as CFO and 6 years as President and Chief Operating Officer. I worked with the O'Malley family and I worked with Fox. The day that Frank and Jamie McCourt came in, they fired me. And I gotta tell you, looking at that today, it was one of the best days of my life. So don't fear failure. I have the pleasure of presenting the final Spirit Award for today. This year's recipient of the Spirit Award was responsible for keeping their fellow students' enthusiasm going strong, even when the going was tough. Whether it was encouraging words, a willingness to listen, or a helping hand, this 2011 Spirit Award recipient was always there to foster a culture of support and collaboration. And I think as all of you will find out, much of your success in life will depend upon not just your technical skills, but how much spirit you have. So it's my pleasure to introduce the final Spirit Award winner, Oscar Anchondo.
This is the very first Instructor's Choice Award. It goes to someone who's played a very crucial role in the education of their fellow students in the classroom. This person has taken a very active role in maintaining a positive atmosphere and creating a spirit of passion and curiosity. And personally, the ability to touch To inspire and to enroll others is a trait that I wish all of you will have, because in the real world, in your families, in business, the ability to move others, you will take a very big part in changing the world. So please help me welcome Ligia Williams.
Enthusiasm, desire, and emotion, so critical in the learning process. Plato once wrote that all human behavior stems from three sources: desire, emotion, knowledge. And I don't think it's an accident that desire and emotion preceded knowledge. We bear witness today in this room to desire and emotion. Not just in the first 5 or 6 rows, but the entire room. The desire that all of you had for these fine people to graduate, to succeed, and the emotion that all of you display today in this room. I was told shortly before we marched in today that there were a little over 200 graduates this year, and that there are over 1,200 seats in this room. You think that would be enough, but no. We have standing room over there, standing room in the back. This award is being presented to someone who has wonderfully exhibited the first 2 qualities in pursuit of the third. And for that, we congratulate this person. Our final 2011 Instructor's Choice Award recipient is Luisa Alvarado.
Yeah, baby!
And now, our ceremony will continue with the presentation of our graduating candidates. The moment you have been waiting for. And now, for those graduates, those candidates receiving Associate of Science degrees in Sports and Rehabilitation Therapy, please rise. Come on down.
Graduates, now you can move your tassel from left to right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2011, Fremont College!
Very proud of my son, trying to be with him all the time. Best wishes for him all the time, and thanks to the college.
Congratulations, I love you. I'm so proud of you. Bigger and better things to come. All right. That's right. Congratulations.
I love you too. Thank you. You guys have a